Thought I'd do a bit of a different video this time. Rather than me just appearing in the corner and screen sharing different websites, Search Console, different SEO tools, and talking through little tips and tricks and how I segment the data, how I'd improve a website. I wanted to talk about e-commerce SEO in general and how I think in regard to e-commerce SEO. And it's taken me my entire career to get this method of thinking. And it's there's been little moments where this thinking might have been applied, and it's very sort of simple. It's very logical, but it tends to resonate with a lot of people. It resonates with clients that I speak to, resonates with other people who don't have any clue about SEO. I've got no technical knowledge, any sort of real marketing background, but this still always resonates with them. And you'll hear other people talk about it, but it's a good way of thinking when it comes to your site, and you'll start to notice the pattern when other websites have not done it, and it applies to just sort of everyday shops. Like you notice it when you're out and about as well, which is weird. But when it comes to e-commerce SEO, you're trying to sell products. Uh, that's not anything revolutionary, and it's not rocket science, but it's like sometimes your products are going to be better than the competition. I do think the majority of the time, without upsetting anyone, products are much of a muchness. They're all fairly similar. But most services are. I mean, there are some disparities, but if you think about it, the majority of products are very similar in how they sort of perform. Like most video games are similar. Most t-shirts are sort of similar. The odd few do stand out, and the odd few are terrible, but they're all sort of in that middle sort of section. So that's exactly why it's not about the product, as long as it's not terrible. It's about how you position the product. And people have said this before, so it's not like I'm coming up with any original thought, but I think it's a really good way of thinking of how to position your website and position yourself as well, really. And that's what I'm trying to do as a SEO. There's thousands of SEO consultants out there, but I'm trying to position my way a little bit differently, and I need to work on it and keep it consistent. But when it comes to e-commerce SEO, you have products and product categories. So say you have 100 products and you have five different product categories. Now, those product categories are probably going to be quite broad to begin with. You're going to be competing against big brands. You're going to be using short tail keywords. Say it's a car shop, for example. So that there's going to be say they sell Ford cars, and the different product categories are that there's different engine sizes, different colours, there's different size of cars. I don't know much about cars, as you could probably tell. Different wheel drives, different number of doors, all this sort of stuff. Different interiors. So every product's got a number of different attributes. What I'd suggest you do, and you've probably done this already, but list all the different types of product attributes that each product has got. So the size, the color, the material, whatever it is, just list as many as you possibly can. And when you've got all those, and this particularly applies to companies with a high number of products or a high number of product SKUs, once you've listed all those different attributes, then obviously certain websites and CMSs will ask you to tag those products. Any within a product category, so there's 50 products in one product category. There's 50 blue cars, right? if if you list all those different attributes and there's more than two of them, there's potential for a new product category. Not completely 100%, but there's potential. So if you say you've got men's cars as your parent category, blue cars as your child category, within that blue car category, so there's 50 of them, five of them are four-wheel drive. Now, when people are searching on Google or whichever search engine, yeah, when they first start off the search and they're at the top of the funnel and they're first doing research, especially for a higher ticket item like a car, they might start with the short tail keywords like men's cars, and they go, okay, what sort of colour am I after? Men's blue cars, okay, and then they start to compare different websites and go, okay, they do this sort of blue car, they do this sort of blue car. But then they start to refine down, okay, I really want this attribute, I really want this attribute, I really want this attribute. And some people will be using the filtering systems, but there are a percentage of people who have got really high buyer intent who will be searching using long tail keywords, and they'll be searching with multiple attributes. And if you've got a dedicated page which covers those attributes and it's ranking, say top three, the percentage chance of conversion increases exponentially. This is where you've got to find, you're looking for entry points to your website. You're looking for people who aren't aware of your company. You want to find a way that they can land on your website with buying intent, where they've previously never heard of your company before. You've ticked all their boxes and you fix all their problems, and you cut down the buying cycle phase, basically. You end the discovery phase for them. Imagine you're shopping around and you're looking for a specific, you're shopping for anniversary chocolates that you're like, okay, I only want to spend under a fiver, and my wife only likes white chocolate and she wants sort of luxury. Imagine you search that in Google, you're like getting frustrated. Okay, I've searched white chocolate, there's nothing sort of under a fiver that I like on that one. There's nothing anniversary on that one. And then you just go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to be specific. And this happens all the time. So you search white chocolate for anniversary, cheap white chocolate for anniversary. And then ranking there is a page dedicated to that search term. I mean, there are you have to do your research around this. Like, so you can't just create every different variation with every different attribute. You have to do it in a calculated manner where you're like, okay, is this product category going to fit the intent? Is there going to be sufficient product coverage in there? Am I just making a category for the sake of making a category? Would someone genuinely be pleased to land on this category, and would they complete the purchase? If it ticks all of those boxes, then that's where you're going to find wins. It's absolute gold. And fitting that within your site structure. You don't need to put all these variations in the main nav necessarily. You don't need to put all the different 1.4 blue Ford cars in the main nav and all this sort of stuff. But as long as you include them in your faceted navigation, your filtering system, and there's internal links going towards them, and and vice versa, if they fit within the navigation, they've got a good breadcrumb structure, they fit within the parent collection perfectly, and all this sort of stuff. That's where you're going to find a win. And Google's algorithm rewards websites that are indexing higher and fulfilling user intent. If you've never had a page that's ranked first, it's a problem. It's the algorithm's not going to look favorably on that because you've never fully hit user intent to such a degree that Google's got no choice than to rank you first and you to get the majority of the traffic. It's something that you need to do for your website. At least test it once. It's create a hype. Go too far to begin with if you feel like it's go niche too far down. Combine too many attributes and see what happens. And start to look at the data in Search Console and all that sort of stuff. This is a bit of an issue with third-party SEO tools. They'll tell you, oh, that keyword doesn't have search volume. There's absolutely no point in creating it. You can't even optimize your content for that keyword if you put it into a content optimizer tool. Nothing comes up. But if you think about it, logically, people go into real life retail shops all the time and they'll go, I'm looking for something that's a bit this and a bit this and a bit this. So they'll not just go, I'm looking for some cheap white chocolate. They might do, but if someone's a little, especially people who are a little bit frustrated and they've been in the research phase too long, they've been walking around the shops too long, for example, they'll come in and go, you know what? I'm looking for white chocolate under a fiver for my anniversary. And the shop assistant will sometimes go, okay, we've got these products, these would be perfect for that. You're looking to recreate that on your website online. You're looking for someone to go, oh my, it's like they created the website themselves. It's like the users actually all the dreams have come true and someone's created a collection or a URL for themselves for the user. It's too almost too good to be true. You want to stack the odds in your favor because ranking for these short tail thousands of search volume keywords can 100% be done. It can be done. I don't want to be too negative around those, and I've done it before, but the sort of time ratio and the amount of budget required is can be ridiculous. You need to improve your link profile to such a degree for these money keywords, and they're so hyper competitive that they don't always drive the sales you want either. People can be doing the research phase and they might like men's t-shirts, for example. It's generally when people are searching men's t-shirts, they might want a specific style, but they've just not refined it yet. But if you set up pages which are already refined for what they might be looking for, this is what I saw someone post about on LinkedIn. SEO isn't about creating demand, it's about capturing demand that's already there. And you're already ticking the boxes. And the thing is, if you very nearly match their intent anyway, so you match their intent 90% of the way, say they're looking for something a little bit more expensive than a fiver chocolate or whatever, or the attribute doesn't quite match up with what your page covers, then generally, because you've hit the emotion so close, they'll navigate around your website looking for the answer. Well, for example, it's like on LinkedIn, I put myself there as an e-commerce Shopify SEO. I still get inquiries for service-based businesses all of the time because people understand that even if you're niche down in one sort of section, the skills will translate to the other industry anyway. And that goes the same with products. Even if you niche down into sort of one product collection, you're using one or two attributes, white chocolates under a fiver, white chocolates for anniversary, they know that the odds have increased of you answering their problem. So if you create a collection page that's longer tail intent that's like white chocolates under a fiver, the odds of you having dark chocolate under a fiver is increased compared to someone just having a chocolate collection. So that's why you should always niche so far. As long as you're matching user intent, it works. And it can be difficult to execute sometimes with certain websites, certain CMSs, but it's 100% worth it in the long term. 100% worth it in the long term. Just try and make each page as unique as possible. Make the products coverage as unique as possible. You don't want the same products in any two categories. So you don't want the same 10 products and the same 10 products in two categories because they will cannibalize each other and there's pointless having those two pages. You want different products in every category. If it's the same 10 products and then five of those 10 products, not really a problem. Different intent. Or if it's two different lots of 10 products, you're normally fine. But it's just a bit of a hack that I've done time and time again, and it's paid off. And if you think about it, it's these collection pages that you're creating are not just good for SEO; they're good for PPC. If you're doing Google Ads towards a page, you don't want to be wasting tons of money on really high click terms. If you can create ad campaigns which are lower cost per click, go into these hyper focused collection pages, you're gonna get you're gonna get less clicks, but clicks with higher commercial intent, higher transactional intent. This is why sale terms is so important. If you can combine a transactional modifier like sale, cheap, buy, um, discount, something like that, with an attribute, oh, you're just really refining. You're getting that Venn diagram down, and it's just getting more and more focused. And this is I see websites doing it all the time where they have the filtering system. Sometimes it'll be a basic filtering system where you can refine by color, you can refine by size, you can refine by price, material, all this sort of thing. When you refine the page, it just sticks on the parent page. The page isn't crawlable. It can't index. The only page that can index is the parent collection for this broad keyword, and it's never going to be as successful as it could be. The and the best way to find these pages is number one, look through your products, look at the different product attributes you can combine, and then number two, look at the data. If you're missing something, compare the two. So if you've got a parent collection page, whatever it might be, look at the data. And are you getting any impressions for keywords with attributes? Are you getting any impressions for like men's blue cars, men's blue t-shirts, men's t-shirts in extra large, all this sort of stuff? If that parent page is ranking well, then possibly leave it. But you've got to get that sort of balance right where if there's going to be enough user intent, if you think about you walk into Next or whatever, there is different size uh, racks and there's different color. Well, there's not necessarily different color racks, but there's different styles, different seasons, all this sort of thing. With online, you've got to make it even easier for someone to find an entry point. You've got to make it even easier, and it's a sustainable strategy that works long term. So I get a few WhatsApps popping up, but that is how I think about e-commerce SEO, being a big fish in a small pond. How can this website be a big fish in a small pond? How can this website? It's not necessarily about competing with bigger brands. It's about where are the weak spots? Where are the other brands not taking advantage of? Where are the other brands missing? What have you got that the other brand hasn't got? And how can you take advantage of it? And how can you take that positioning and getting and doing it as early as possible? Getting in first has an advantage because you gain a foothold in the search positions. It's it's harder for them to get there. Look in the search results. Look add the attributes to your product categories and start to go, okay, it's a bit of a gap there. No one's got a page for large men's blue t-shirts. The only pages that are ranking are more broad. They're targeting like men's t-shirts, men's blue. There's nothing that targets that specifically. You create a collection, get it indexed, add some internal links to it, make sure it's got unique copy, make sure the product coverage is unique, submit it for the index in Search Console, get it indexed, get it ranking, keep tweaking it, check the data, iterate, and then get it ranking first, and then the whole site will improve as a whole, and user behavioral, which is another ranking factor, will push it up the search because it hits the intent more than the other collections. There you go.